Welcome, everybody, to the Pulse of the Heartland Combat Sports Podcast. With us tonight, you got myself, Uncle Joe, and with me tonight is Homer Bryant. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just over here in the big Chi-town. Had some beers at a brewery and some dinner, and now getting ready to talk some UFC. UFC 277 coming up this weekend. I'm super pumped for it.
Hell yeah, dude. This is one I missed fight night last week, but kind of going over the main card. We kind of talked about this where I didn't really know anyone in the prelims, but I would say this is going to be a hell of a main card. Honestly, if you keep it up any with UFC, you're going to know a lot of them.
Yep. Yeah, the main card is very, very top heavy. I wouldn't say top heavy, but there's a lot of big names on there. I think everyone on there is ranked, and there's 4 top 5 or top 10 bouts. So yeah, it's going to be really good. We'll see how everything plays out. As everyone knows, this is the rematch between Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes, my favorite fighter of all time. So yeah, I'm super pumped for that. And we know what happened last time with Nunes being the big favorite in the fight that she was. We'll see if she can come back from that, or if Pena has her number again. We'll break all that down for you coming up. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone again for joining us. And Bryant, if you want, can you hit them with the socials real quick?
Yeah, I'd say Instagram, Twitter is going to be at Heartland Pulse, and then Facebook and YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, go ahead and like that. So at least if anything, you can see when we're going live or watch our videos later. But those are both going to be Pulse of the Heartland.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, man. And I am tweeting out that link right now, and I know Brian's going to grab that and then put it onto Facebook. So if you ever have anything that you want to ask us, reach out to us. Let us know how we're doing, what's going on. Hit us up on either one of those links. Like Brian said, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and basically everywhere. So, and then we will go ahead and get this compressed, put together, and we'll have a brand new UFC podcast out for you either tomorrow or Friday. We'll see how the mornings go. But yeah, one of the 2 days we'll have a new podcast out for you.
It'll definitely, at least it'll be before the prelims and everything else. Remember when we get the national championship preview 15 minutes before the game? Everyone get your listens in before this game.
Exactly.
15 minutes,
Yeah. Were we even on YouTube then? Were we just putting it out as a podcast? Because
just as a pod, I think.
Oh God, so we weren't even live. Holy shit!
I guess that's what happens when you have a full-time job, and you got to go to work and then get people to do it, and then it was a mess. This is definitely a lot easier, a lot more fun now.
Yep. How times have changed. Oh,
Absolutely.
Billy. Sweet. So, first and foremost, as always, what are you sipping on, Bri?
Water right now. I had a beer earlier when I thought we were starting at 9 o'clock Eastern time, so I put the beer away. But just water for now. How about yourself?
Well, Bryant can't read between a C or an E, so yeah, it just happens. But he can pick out hella beer cans. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Myself, like I said, I'm in Chi-town, Lockport to be exact, and went to dinner tonight at Tangled Roots Brewery here. It's the Lock and Mule restaurant. Really, really good food, really, really good beers. Didn't buy any there, but I was also at Good City Brewing in Milwaukee. Highly recommend that for anyone that wants to go. I got a couple beers to try. Well, I've had them both, but they're really good. First one's called Firefly. It's just a really smooth, nice IPA, and you can see their cans are pretty damn cool. And then their big thing was IPAs, so they had a couple hazy IPAs that were really good, and the one that I decided to buy was called Big Time, and it's also a pretty damn cool can. A little guy in a tank top and Daisy Dukes on a motorcycle with the Milwaukee Bridge behind him. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That was Joe Dirt for a second.
It might be, to be honest with you, but it's a juicy IPA. Juicy, baby. But yeah, let's let's do an alloy test on that one.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this was good out of the tap. Yeah, it's still pretty damn good. It's got a little more. I think I gave it a 4.1 on Untapped. It's got a little bit of a different aftertaste that I don't like, but
Mm-hmm.
Super hoppy on the front end and citrusy at the back end. So I like it overall. The Firefly one I gave a 4.5, which is one of my higher rated beers. So I'll have that
Nice.
one probably a little bit later. But anyway, let's forget what we're doing and just jump right into UFC. I do have to make a shout out for last week's Fight Night card that was in London. It was amazing. And if you weren't able to watch it, the two big stars were Patty Pimblett and Molly
Mm-hmm.
Meatball McCann. Were you
Yeah, they
able to
were.
check that out at all?
I missed the Molly one. I really just saw the shout outs that Patty made after it, but I would say I know both of them have been awesome. I've been listening to
Mm-hmm.
interviews with them, and they're both barstool athletes, and I kind of follow that. But I would say,
Yep.
I mean, Patty the Batty and Meatball Molly, they, I mean, you're kind of really hyping up before. You think they're going to be the next big stars, huh?
I mean, I'm not the only one. Dana had even more questions about them today during the UFC 277 press conference and asking who's going to, which one is going to be a bigger star, who they remind him of. And he said Patty for sure is a Connor, the next
Mm,
Conor McGregor. And I'm like, we already have Sugar Sean O'Malley. So, I mean, you have two
mm.
more Connors? Jesus, must be nice. Living large over there
Sounds
in the
like
UFC.
sounds like your nightmare, Joey.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I respected Connor in the octagon. I just the arrogance is what got to me. Like when he started fighting with people outside of it, I hated that. So
Yeah.
these two so far seem to not be that way.
Was that Connor that threw the garbage can up against that? Okay, I
Yep.
wasn't sure if that
Yep.
was him or if I was thinking of someone else, but
Yeah, and the shitty part was then everyone went after Khabib and his crew because he jumped the fence and went into the stands, and uh,
mm,
it was all antagonized by Dylan Dennis and all the other douchebags and Connor's crew. So
mm,
yeah, I don't know. I'm over that whole scene. Hopefully nothing like that happens again. But yeah, Patty, his opponent was telling him he was going to twerk on him when he beat him, and then Patty was like, "Screw that! I'm going to teabag you, like just like Call of Duty." And then he ended up doing it.
yep.
And then
I
30
did catch
seconds
that as well.
later,
That's pretty
yeah.
funny.
And 30 seconds later was telling masculine men all over the world to not be afraid to talk about suicide and mental health issues. So
Hmm.
that's pretty damn cool, if you ask me.
Yeah, I would say, and again, how many of them they're in the, Joe really lets them talk at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously he's one of the most successful podcasters, and because he interviews very well and lets people talk.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was really awesome how he let Patty. And again, I'm really surprised that him even fighting through this is probably what his buddy would have wanted at that point. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, if you're ever having those feelings, reach out to your friend, let someone know, speak out. You're not. I
Mm-hmm.
would say I think that's always the kind of concern is you're always worried what someone's gonna they're gonna think less of you, and it's like no, well they're gonna think at least they're still here,
Yep.
So
Exactly.
hopefully
So,
it helped at least one person.
mhm.
Good was caused then if if it helped at least one person.
Right. And for all of those watching on YouTube, no, Bryant is A-OK. He is wearing a Shania Twain shirt on purpose, and it is glorious. So
Yeah.
just FYI.
I mean, it just shows people I have good taste. I have Shania here. I have the cyclone sign
Oh,
right.
Jesus Christ.
I can't. I'm getting used to the camera on me where I
Right.
need to just in this general area. So
I like it. Yeah, man.
and
Everyone loves Shania Twain, I think.
and the cyclones, right?
Well, I don't hate them, but I can't say they're my favorite. They're no Nebraska for me, that's for damn sure.
Well, yeah. At least we have a common enemy. So
Yeah, had to somehow fit that in a UFC
absolutely.
podcast. But yeah, so that the last fight night, you can watch that on ESPN Plus if you want to go back and watch Patty and Molly McCann do their thing. And what I thought was even cooler, McCann had just amazing elbows, and that's how she finished the fight. And she almost had her knocked out in the first, I think it was, yeah, the beginning of the round. But then afterwards, Joanna Jędrzejczyk was in the in the crowd, and they were sitting there chugging beers together. So good for Joanna, good for Molly. I think that's cool as shit. So I'm my favorite thing is when athletes do a good job, win, lose, and they can go out and just celebrate together, doing their thing.
Just
Which is
let loose.
awesome.
It's like anytime you're in wrestling, win or lose or wherever, you
Mhm.
made your way in. You did a good job that day, and then or a bad job, and then you just could
Right.
actually relax, eat. You don't have to worry about. Well, I can only get half of a salad bowl filled because
Right.
I can only gained 0.2 pounds today or something. So
Yep, exactly. But anyway, enough about last week's fight night. Let's move into what's going on this weekend. UFC 277 is this weekend. It's on. Prelims are going to be on ESPN Plus. They're going to be at 5 Central Time. Early prelims will be at 5 Central Time. Sorry. The regular prelims will be at 7, and the main card, as always, starts pay-per-view at 9 p.m. Central Time. We've got not a lot of big names on the undercard. Bryant, you mentioned that you want me to definitely lead this section because there aren't many names that one you recognized or two like even knew who they were.
yeah, I mean UFC on one of the 4 matches that Hamdi Abdul Wahab, I did not make up that name. He doesn't even, and he's the favorite. He doesn't even have a picture listed. So yeah,
Yep.
lead the way on this one, man, and I will sit here, nod, and agree.
No, that's fine. I won't touch too much on this. The only thing I can say is for cards like this, when the prelims and the early prelims don't have a lot of big names, the one thing I can never ever fault Dana White and Sean, whatever the fuck his name is, the matchmakers for UFC, they are fucking good. And so when they put no names together on a fight, normally they're either one coming off a win streak, two trying to make a name for themselves. They're usually going to throw. They're going to throw hard and try and knock each other out. So I would not be shocked at all if these prelims and early prelims are just exciting as shit. So even though you may not know the names and stuff, just check them out. Put them on the background while you're, smoking meat or just getting your food ready for the main card or just having beers with your buds. Just put them on the background. They're going to be free. You can watch them anyway. But 2 biggest names will be Drew Dober and then – oh, damn it, I lost my page. Drew Dober and Rafael Alves. And they end up fighting each other at lightweight. They're both coming off of pretty good win streaks. And Drew Dober is one of those fighters that we knew from a couple years ago, had some early knockouts, got in the top 10, and then he had a couple losses in a row that knocked him back out. But he's back up on the winning side, and so is Rafael Alves. So hopefully that's a very good fight that can come out of this. But I don't know much about anyone else on here. Forgive me, but there's not a lot of big names in the prelims.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to get some more info. The only note that I see you have on here, and I'm noticing as well, is there's only, we've talked about it in, I think it was 276. There's a couple ranked matches in the in the prelims, and now the only other ranked person is Drakkar Klose at 15 in the lightweight bout.
Yep. And I honestly, he's ranked 15 or whatever. And I don't even know who he is. So forgive me on that. I apologize. Need to jump back into watching the Contender Series and the Ultimate Fighter and stuff to see who these people are and get back into it. My girlfriend is, since we watched last week's fight night, she has not stopped watching UFC. I don't know if it's because that she found out that we had ESPN Plus or what, but man, she told me today, she's like, did you know Rockhold and Paulo Costa aren't on this card anymore? I was like, I didn't even know they were on the card to begin with. And I had to look, and they got canceled in May, so there was supposed to be another ranked fight. But, there's a minor injury. They'll be later in August. So,
do we need to invite her on? Because clearly she knows more than I do. That we can.
She's on all the major social medias and stuff, so she's checking shit all the time. But no, she is super into watching Patty and Molly, and then she loves, we'll get into it later, but loves Amanda Nunes. I think she said her favorite fighter was Wang Zhe Li. So that's cool. So, or Zhe Wang Li, whatever. The Chinese woman from China, obviously, but that watch Joanna. So I don't know what I'm doing with this. Now I'm just rambling. I need to shut the fuck up and move on.
Oh, you're good, dude.
Yeah, the main card itself, completely different story. You won't find a name on here that one you probably haven't at least heard of, if not know exactly who they are. So we'll start at the very bottom. We got Anthony Smith. I put Anthony Davis. So I guess the Lakers forward is going to be fighting.
I was wondering about that. You had 2 different names. I wasn't going to correct you. I've been corrected plenty of times when I put an itinerary together. So
no, LeBron is not trying to force his teammates into fighting now. As much as they were disappointed last year, he's not trying to force his teammates into UFC. But Anthony Smith was a former title contender, as was Magomedov Ankalaev. They're both Anthony Smith has been in a title fight. Ankalaev is working his way up. We'll see how this plays out. Anthony Smith likes to throw bombs. He does wear out early, and Ankalaev is another one of the huge line of Dagestanis that is just going to come out and try and take you down and punish you a lot like Khabib. So I think this is going to be kind of like what Trent mentions every single time, just kind of a juxtaposition of fighting styles, and I'm super excited to see which one wins out.
I would say one thing I did when I was doing a little research here, and I don't know if maybe injury played into it. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards Ankalaev on this one, just because again, like you said, he's kind of on the rise. I know Anthony Smith has a lot of history. I mean, Christ, he has over 50 fights, but I mean, Ankalaev, he's fought within the last 100, or he was 140 days since his last fight. So I mean, he's going to be a little, or I guess a little more active. Smith, he hasn't fought in over 300 days. I wonder if having that much time in between, I know he's got the experience with age, you're going to have to take a little bit more time. But I mean, 300 days, I feel like rust is going to hit you more than anything.
And I'm not even sure exactly why he took the time off. I think there might have been an injury in his last fight, but I don't think it was anything that significant that I remember actually happening in the octagon. But either way, regardless, like you said, he's got the experience. I will wait and give you my pick later, but yeah, I'm excited for that one just to see which style is going to end up playing out. Next fight we have is Alex Perez versus Alejandro Pantoja. Yeah. I'm going to go with that. Yeah. Perez is coming off the title shot and wants another crack at it. We'll see how that ends up coming out. He did lose to Deviation Figueroa. He only got one shot, and that was Figueroa's most recent fight since his Moreno trilogy, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Perez was game. He did not perform as well as he normally does, but we'll see how he plays out in this one. And Alejandro Pantoja or whatever, he is also coming in at rank number 4 and is just an up-and-comer that has just demolished his opponents lately.
I'd say the only thing I noticed kind of going through the stats here, looks like Perez, he's a little more apt for takedowns. I think if it's a more stand-up, just punching fight, I think Pantoja's going to take that one. If it's more like takedowns, I guess I haven't made a final decision. I mean, they're pretty even across the board. Even, like I said, Pantoja, he's more of I'm just going 100% off the numbers here. Even with Pantoja having more punches, I would say Perez has more takedowns and he competes with punching. So, I mean, I'm probably on. I'm going to wait a little bit. I might have to hear what you have to say a little more before I make my pick on that one.
That's okay, man. One thing I did want to mention, you mentioned that Perez is big on the takedowns and big into the ground and pound type stuff. That is what got him in trouble with Deviation Figueroa. Figueroa was just too much in not being able to take it down. He was very good on the ground game, very good at defending the takedowns. So we'll see if that can go against someone that's not the champ.
And, I'm looking at both of them right now. Sorry to just before we potentially move on to the next one. Both of them are 2-1 in their last 3 fights. But I'm looking at just the new stat that I might fall in love with. Days since their last pro fight, Pantoja 343 days, Perez 616 days since his last fight.
Damn. So he was before the Moreno trilogy. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is, I guess I'm surprised with both of them this long between fights. I know they're both top 7. I'm surprised they honestly are on the main card. Just we don't know what condition they're in, but
well, we are getting 4 of the top 5 flyweights on this main card, so it's going to be a lot of little guys punching each other, and hopefully someone brings the heat and lands one. That's what everyone wants to see. Going back even to like the Mighty Mouse days, he was so dominant when he was in the UFC, and then whenever he was winning, by takedowns and just ground and pounding, people were still booing him. So we want the heat, we want the punches. Let's see some power, hopefully.
Well, I would say if you love heat and punches, might as well just go and watch 276. I don't think there's one takedown that entire main card. That was all stand up the whole fucking time.
Yeah, and speaking of that, the third fight on the main card is probably going to be all stand up. We've got the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, versus Sergey Pavlovich. And I tell you what, man, both of these are coming in at an 80+% KO rate in both of their wins. Pavlovich is 15-1. Everyone knows who Derek Lewis is. It's the dude that said his balls were hot. So yeah, he just comes in and just beats people up, and so does Sergey. So hopefully that one, just speaking of bringing the heat, just throwing haymakers.
I'm sorry, I completely forgot my balls are hot, Joe Rogan.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say I was going through when I was going through. I mean, Derek Lewis, of all active heavyweights on the UFC's website, says he has the most knockouts of any active heavyweight. Both are in the top 10 though in knockdowns. Derek Lewis has 8. Sergey has 3. They haven't met, and then Lewis has a few. He has about a month extra of rest, so won't be too much of a factor. But I'd say this definitely. This is more, I think, both using my suit, the heavyweights going back and forth.
Yep, and I think so. I think, man, Sergey is only 15-1. He's ranked 11th, and has just beat the shit out of people. And Derek Lewis, he comes out of nowhere. It can just randomly just knock people out. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, I would say it's. I guess for me, I'm a little bit more of the casual fan. I mean, I'm probably going to side more on Lewis until I see something from this Sergey. Again, only one loss, but I mean, it's how many times? I mean, I think last 276 when we were picking experience over the new guy, the only reason we won it was like who's that kickboxer that won?
Alex Perez.
Alex Perez or in
Pereira.
276?
Yeah.
Oh, Pereira. Yeah. I was like, Perez, this one. So no. I don't know. I'm probably going to side with Lewis on that one. I just don't know too much about Sergey and Lewis. It just, like you said, one punch, it could change the whole fight, and it's over at that point.
Yeah. Lewis is coming off of a couple losses, though, but they've also been against top 5 opponents. So, I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt. Anyone in the heavyweight division, top 5, can knock the other one out at any moment. So we'll see if it's just been a little slump for him and he gets back on track, or if Sergey takes care of business. We'll find out. Hopefully, like I said, with the last fight, hopefully it just comes out and they just come swinging. I'm sure they will. So. All right, co-main event of the evening. We've got an interim title fight, 2 very talented flyweights. We've got Brandon Moreno coming off his trilogy with the champ.
Hold on, can you reread those but put their nicknames in there? Because this might be one of the top nickname matchups I've heard in maybe ever in UFC.
I don't have their nicknames. You can go ahead with them.
It is Brandon the Assassin Baby Moreno versus. Wow. I guess I don't know where he'd put it because it'll be Kai Kara Don't Blink France. So I don't know. I thought those are 2 pretty damn good nicknames.
Hell yeah, I like the Don't Blink. That's good.
I like it. I prefer the Assassin Baby. Now we're really having an argument.
The Assassin Baby. So on the Dan Le Batard show today, they had top 5 UFC nicknames of all time. Did you have any others in mind?
Oh, I ranked the 3 that we have 3 from this main card. One we haven't got to her yet, but I put Pena, Venezuelan Vixen. That's number 1 on this card.
Damn.
Marino Assassin Baby number 2, and then Lewis Black Beast at number 3.
Man, so you're forgetting the Lioness and what was Kai Kara France?
I would say honestly, Kai Kara with Don't Blink probably would have been 4, Lioness 5. Yeah. I saw him. Venezuelan Vixen. I'm
not arguing with that one. That one's great. I love her.
I don't know. That one was also in my search history on other websites, so I don't know why that one made my list. But
it's always number 1 in Brian's.
It's trending. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, now that we got that out of the way, it's Moreno versus Kai Kara France. like I mentioned before, Moreno is coming off a trilogy with champ Davison Figueiredo.
Mhm.
He looked great in the first two fights. The first one ended up in a draw, and then the last two he kind of Davison just took it to him in the last couple rounds and won a split decision and then won a unanimous decision. So I'm
Mhm.
sure he's hungry and wants to get back in that title fight. And then Kai Kara France is coming off a dominant 3-fight win streak, which he did lose the last fight between these two, which was a unanimous decision, but was statistically very close. Their striking was almost identical.
Mhm.
Moreno did win the, significant strikes. So I got
Yep.
little hiccups. You go ahead.
Oh, you're good, man. I was just gonna say that was the only thing I really found when I was doing research on him was Moreno's 1-0 versus him. Moreno, like you said, he won 1-1 in his last three, but I would say very tough fights that he's been through. I would say, but both of them, the draw and the well, I'm sorry, draw, win, and loss were both the um, uh, oh my goodness, Davison, however you say
Yep.
that. So, um,
Figueredo.
thank you, Figueredo. So, I would say I really couldn't find too much that was a statistical like advantage. Going the brief research that I did find, I'm probably leaning a little towards Moreno just because again, yeah, I guess even though they're close with Kai Kara, you got to beat Moreno at this point, and Moreno's got the one fight advantage. So that's
Mm-hmm.
about the one thing I'm looking at this one. Also,
Yep.
he does have a research advantage, which I love.
Oh God, yeah. How long have they been off since their last fight? Now that that's your new stat.
Oh yeah, that is the new stat. Marino 189 days, Kai Kara 126. So not too far.
Which
They both fought within the last just shy of 6 months, but I
yeah,
would say they've at least fought within this last year.
right. And I think that's pretty typical for UFC fighters. So yeah, not too
Mhm.
bad. Yeah, I think it's going to be another great fight. I would expect fireworks from this one. They both like to come out and swing, and I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight leading up into our huge main event.
Yep.
As I mentioned before, Amanda Nunes is my favorite fighter of all time. She was the fourth largest betting favorite ever in UFC history, and then lost last fight to Juliana Pena. Pena went out.
Yep.
It looked like it was going to be Nunes' fight in the first round, and then Pena all of a sudden just turned it on, and Amanda Nunes just disappeared and ended up
Yep.
getting TKO'd.
I thought it was submission that she got her in.
Was it? I thought it was TKO. Either
I
way, she ended up beating her. She was beating her in the face before that, so it could have been a rear naked choke or something from that. I need to go back and watch the fight again.
Yep. I'm pulling it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it was a yep, submission rear naked choke. You're right.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, I know. I remember her pounding her in the face, and then she must have taken her back. So anyway, it
Mhm.
was a shocking upset, which was awesome to see, especially for casual fans. I was just devastated. I thought for sure Nunes was going to run through her. Nunes, like I mentioned, my goat. I think she's the best fighter that's ever been in the women's division for sure, and she's right up there with best ever in men or women. So
Mhm.
I am super excited to see if she could bounce back and see what happens. I don't think she's ever lost before in the UFC. So yeah, we'll see what happens this weekend. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Say I think this is going to be Nunez's as well. I mean, I think that was kind of an anomaly. Now, again, Pena. I mean, she had her number. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there was not really a point in the fight where with Nunez, you're kind of like, okay, she's toying with her, and then okay, now she's just going
Mm-hmm.
to start taking over. There was not really a moment in this fight. Maybe in the very beginning, like you said, I'd have to rewatch, but even that first round, we were all kind of like, okay, this is a little bit more of a fight than we expected from a
Yep.
what was she like -600, -900, or whatever.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that I would say they still have Nunez as a heavy favorite. She's -275 to Pena's +230. So I don't know. Maybe that'll still keep Pena motivated. She is the champion facing the next best competitor. That in the last fight she won convincingly.
Yep.
So
And
I
that is Go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, that was kind of it. She won convincingly. Wouldn't be shocked if she absolutely uses that as her motivation there.
Yeah, I would too. But I mean, if I were her, I definitely would, because not only all of these, betting lines and stuff are coming off of Noon's reputation and not even so much what happened in the last fight. So there's
Yeah,
that. But then we were looking this weekend and trying to find Juliana Pena fights so that we could, study up on her. You can't find any on ESPN Plus. Like, you have to buy Fight Pass. We have to look it up on YouTube. I didn't see any on there this weekend. They may have loaded up this week. I haven't been on since I've been traveling, but everything was Amanda Nunes. I mean, there was a Juliana Pena like documentary interview thing, but that was it. And I know the countdowns I've seen on Twitter and stuff, they're super focused on Nunes and not like, I don't get
yeah.
it, because Pena is beautiful and also an
Mhm.
amazing fighter. Like, you're getting the Rousey, a new Rousey. Like, what are they doing? Why are they not marketing her more? It's crazy to me.
Mhm. No, I have to agree. It's kind of like when you have I mean, with college, like with college football, they're going to talk about, oh my God, look at this losing Texas team over maybe they're playing like a
Yeah.
UTSA, a team that is 9-3, and they're talking about the team that's 3-9. How could they keep? You know what I'm saying? That's probably a poor example because it's only been one fight, but yeah, I mean, and again, Vegas doesn't want to lose their ass either with making Nunez a. I'm
Mhm.
surprised that it's not a little closer to a pick 'em.
Right.
Because again, Pena is the one. Hell, when the hell was Nunez even lost a fight before this?
God, I couldn't tell you. Like, I don't know if she's lost in the UFC, and
Her
forgive me
her
if I'm
last
wrong.
loss was 2014 to Kat Zingano. Am I saying that
Kat
right?
Zingano beat her.
Yeah,
Was it in
2014.
UFC?
Yeah, UFC 178 triple knockout.
Wow.
So I mean, so yeah, I mean, again, Nunez, and as far as I can go back, and I can't get to the next page on the UFC stats. She hasn't lost back fights either.
Right.
The one even before that was 2011 versus Alexis Davis.
Okay.
Another triple knockout. I'm not really sure if she is, but I mean, so before the last fight, 2 losses in the last 10 years. So
Yeah.
who knows, man? That one, I think that, like I said, I realistically think that should be closer to a pick 'em. But
Yep. I agree
here
with you, man. I think that I don't understand some of the things the UFC does sometimes, and not promoting Pena more is beyond me. I don't get it,
mhm.
but it is what it is. But yeah, any other final thoughts on this last one?
Not really. I mean, just kind of to that. Maybe they've just kind of, they've put so much. They've got 10 years worth of good fights out of Nunez. They're probably just focusing on, okay, we've made our money off of her. We're gonna keep riding her until for sure.
Hmm.
Excuse me. I'd say they're going to keep riding her until for sure. If Pena loses again, I think then you're going to slowly start seeing them backing away from Nunez and really put their horses behind Pena there.
Yeah, and I think as they should. Not saying that Nunes would be washed by any means or whatsoever, but I mean, losing back to back to the same person. I know she's
Is it
been
Nunes or
dominating.
Nunez? I've been saying it wrong.
Oh no, a lot of people do. It's Amanda Nunes.
Nunes. Okay, well,
Hmm. Yep.
we now learned something new on this pod. Shit.
That's all right. I mean, when when has anyone been a stickler on any of these names that are coming through? Not just
Yeah.
UFC, but soccer, NBA, anything. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, hell, Iowa State just got a recruit last night with the first name Omaha.
Omaha. Yeah,
Yeah,
Peyton Manning's favorite
named,
audible,
I was just gonna say named after Peyton Manning. So
named
I
after
know
his
that makes
audible
you.
shit. Well, I would say we won't go into that. We can talk about Iowa State basketball all you want after the pod here, but
Nah,
you want to do some picks here,
I think I've got like 17 more beers to drink before I want to do that. So,
and it'll
but
all
yeah,
be skewed negative. I know. Trust me, I've been around you too long to know how that conversation will go.
it will not be skewed negative. I've said it many times. I'm always rooting for Iowa State until they're playing Iowa, and then I want them to lose by 1,000 points.
Bullshit. You'll be a few beers in. You're going to talk about how Carver Hawkeye Arena is actually a tougher area to play than it is in Hilton. But
Well, I mean, yeah, if we're playing wrestling, so Yeah.
Play wrestling? Is that what we're doing?
Playing wrestling. Exactly.
Playing wrestling. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump into our picks, man. Let's see. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I can start. I don't care. I would say I don't think we're not doing the alternating, are we? We're just kind of choosing for sure who we were.
Yeah, let's just pick. We won't do
Yeah.
alternating since there's two of
First
us.
one, I'm taking ankle off. Like I said, I
All right.
think with fighting more recently within the last year, I think that's going to be advantage, especially for a guy. Anthony's got the experience. I just think that 300 days is too long between fights.
All right, man. I'm going to take Anthony Smith. I think that coming in with that experience and just his fighting style is super exciting. I'm not going to be surprised if Ankalov wins, but I think Anthony Smith gets the job done and gets right back in that conversation for light heavyweight title shot, especially now that John Jones isn't anywhere to be seen in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to go, man, you had me sold on Perez with the takedowns, but his takedowns didn't do shit against Figueredo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to take a flyer, and I'm going to go Pantoja.
Okay. And say I'll go Perez. We'll kind of we'll at least make it a little more interesting. But like you said, well, the more I was looking at least Perez is he's a little more rounded. I know Pantoja's a little higher, but I don't know, man. Like this one was as big of a toss up as I was going to have on this one. I'm just going to stick with Perez before I talk myself out of it.
Look at us not even trying to set up a Hamilton bet, but I think we're definitely going to have to do it.
If you want to lose $10, Joey, you got my Venmo.
You act like I've never ever bet before. We're going to do that. Of course we are. All right. The third fight. Who you got? The Black Beast or Sergey?
Lewis. You got with that type of nickname and just the power that he's going to have. I think you got to go with Lewis here. Like I said, I don't know anything about Sergey. I think it'd be a stupid bet for me to just jump on a guy that he does only have the one loss, but I've seen Lewis. I think this is the comeback. He's only 1-2 in the last 3. I think this is where he comes back and makes a statement here.
So I've been holding out on you. I know a shit ton about Sergey Pavlovich. He is one of the most dominant. I'm kidding. I know I've seen 2 of his fights that I know of, and both of them have been in KOs. But it's been against lesser competition. I think Derek Lewis is a great fighter. I think if this goes past the first round, I think he gets it done just because he doesn't have like great quote unquote stamina. But man, he just in the 3rd, 4th rounds of like in his title fights, if he just lands that fist on your face, you're out. So
yeah,
I think Sergey is going to come out swinging. I think he wants this, and it's a big jump in competition and also rankings if he gets it done. So I'm going to go with Sergey, and he gets it done. I'm going to make that my pick of the night. I'm going to say he gets it done first round knockout.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well. I won't be making any such pick like that, but I love it with how bold that one is.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next one, we got the flyweight. We got Moreno and Kai Kara France. I think Moreno is probably the better fighter of the 2. I just think Kai Kara France is coming off of 3 dominating wins, and I think he gets it done and sets himself up in line for that title shot against Figueredo.
You've got to be shitting me. You know what, Joey? We are just going to be alternating picks here because I would say I had Moreno again 1-0. I got to see something from Kai that prove that you're going to beat him. So I'm going to go Moreno in this one.
That's fine. And being completely honest with the audience, we didn't talk about these at all before tonight. In fact, we weren't even sure we were going to do this at 9 p.m. Central Time. So
okay, we got it. I don't know how to read.
I'm just giving you shit. No, just being completely honest, we didn't talk about these at all. So this is kind of funny that we're going back and forth. But I'm going to let you pick the last one since it's your turn anyway.
You know what? I was going to say, just because I know you're going to pick Nunes, I guess the Perez one was a little bit I just chose against you just because it was going to be such a toss-up.
Mm-hmm.
Pena won me a lot of money last time. I think I put $5 on her and won 6 times my money. I'm just gonna have to go with her. And until I see Amanda Nunes beat Pena, I got to see it to believe it.
I like your thinking with it by that, man. It's the one fighter that she hasn't really beaten. So yeah, I'll give you that one on there, but I have to go with my goat. I'm going to go with Amanda Nunes, and not only my goat, but my gut. I think she rebounds and comes back and blows her out real quick. I think she kind of messed around with her and fucked around, toyed around last time. I think she's just taking it to her this time.
Yeah. And again, when you haven't lost in a decade, you probably do get a lot. I'm sure she was prepped, but I'm sure there's a little bit like, okay, another day, another dollar. Probably
Yep.
wasn't, like you said, might have been at 80-90% focus, and that was just enough to get him.
Yep. I remember when Anderson Silva was fighting. Oh, god damn it! Was
Weidman.
it? No, it was before that when he fought over in Saudi Arabia or over in God damn it, over in Dubai. I can't remember who he fought, but anyway, he was just playing around, playing the air guitar and shit, and got caught, but wasn't like completely caught, and then was like woken up and took it to him. That's what I thought was going to happen in the first fight. I thought Nunes was just toying with her, tried to get to the second round, wear her down, and Pena just came out going after her. So more power to her. I just hope that it woke Amanda up. So we will see what happens, guys. That's our preview for UFC 277. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree with us. Tell us how dumb we are with our picks. How can they do that, Brian?
They can follow us at Heartland Pulse, Twitter, Instagram. I would say make sure you're following us there for, it's a little bit of a slow time. It's going to start picking up a little closer to football, and I would say I don't know if Joey's going to be quite live tweeting from the account here. And so you can follow him at POTH Hosky there. I would say because I know he'll be. I don't know how drunk he'll be, but I know he'll be drinking and tweeting for the UFC. So, like I said, at Heartland Pulse for Twitter and Instagram, Facebook and YouTube, Pulse of the Heartland.
Yep. We'll see. I'm going to start the smoker. I got to help move a friend that morning, a couple friends actually, and then be starting the smoker probably about noon with some shredded beef and having shredded beef sandwiches or salad or tacos or whatever we want to do with it. So, yeah, I'm sure the first beer will be cracked not too late in the day. We'll make sure that happens. But
sun will be up at least for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and beat the noon whistle, so we'll see.
But, beat the noon
anyway,
whistle. Oh, God. Keep it coherent when you're tweeting later in the night, then, Joey.
I'll do what I can. I will do what I can. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to us. Check out UFC this weekend, and if you have anything else that you want us to cover in the coming months, just let us know.
All right, appreciate you guys.